snow in a one-horse open sleigh. O'er the fields we go, laughing all the way. Bells on bobtail ring, making spirits bright. What fun it is to ride and sing a sleighing song tonight. Oh, jingle bells, jingle all the way. Oh, what fun it is to ride in a one-horse open sleigh. Hey, jingle bells, jingle all the way. Oh, what fun it is to ride in a one-horse open sleigh. A day or two ago, I thought I'd take a ride, and soon Miss Fanny Bright was seated by my side. The horse was lean and lame, misfortune seemed his lot. He got into a drifted bank and then we got upset. Oh, jingle bells, jingle all the way. Oh, what fun it is to ride in a one-horse open sleigh. Hey, jingle bells, jingle all the way. Oh, what...
Welcome to the fourth episode of the RFC Tuesday podcast, the weekly show on the web where we invite the best and the brightest in the financial services industry and try to learn from their success and expertise. In today's episode, we have our special guests that will be sharing about artificial intelligence enhanced investments and how it can improve risk management for your investments and minimize losses.
That's right. This show again is powered by IARFCPH, the Philippine chapter of the International Association of Registered Financial Consultants. The IARFCPH is an association dedicated to the craft of financial consulting. The association is the sole organization authorized to conduct the RFC conversion courses as well as continuing education in the field of financial consulting.
That's right, Coach. We are your hosts. I'm Andre Michael Obieres, a registered financial consultant and a stockbroker.
I'm Coach John Dizon, a registered financial consultant and a life coach in NLP Manila.
Good evening. I am KuyaRyan Daes, a registered financial consultant, a chartered wealth manager, and a registered estate planner. In advance, I would like to greet all of our watchers, our guests in the podcast, an advance Merry Christmas. First day ng Christmas ngayon.
Actually, maaga nga tayo mag-Christmas eh. But since it's officially December already, Merry Christmas, everyone.
Yeah.
And happy holidays. No, for
Holiday.
all faiths. No.
For all faiths, correct.
That's right. So this year, at the onset of the lockdowns worldwide, many people actually saw their investment portfolios collapse. And some lost as much as 30%, others even more. And this was all because of COVID-19. Tonight, we will be learning from our special guests about how to use algorithmic strategies and which are enhanced by AI or artificial intelligence, and how it can insulate our investments from the human folly, which is like fear, irrational behavior, and the drama that come with pandemics and other perhaps black swan events.
Right. I'm actually excited with this episode kasi makikita natin how artificial intelligence. Later, we'll tell you more about ano nga ba ang artificial intelligence. Ang dami ngayon actually.
Advanced technologies take place. I've been hearing in the U.S. that they are applying robo-advisors or artificial intelligence on managing investments. I'm actually quite curious how that will be implemented. What about you, Coach?
Ako, right I'm wondering kasi syempre, pera nila to na ang tagal-tagal nilang inipon. Kumbaga,
Mm.
testing and then suddenly the pandemic hits, bagsak. So I'm wondering how. I want to know kasi from you guys, you've been practicing for a very long time already. Kuya Ryan, I would like to get to know ano ba
Yeah.
sabi ng
I know this question is forthcoming kasi alam niyo naman kung kailan ako nag-start. Although I was just 15 when I started. Disclaimer ko yun. Anyways, kasi in actually naaalala ko pa yung Asian financial crisis although bata pa ako noon but I guess our guest can explain better what went through then. Pero naalala ko yun, kinikwento ng makakakilala ko, nakwento lang naman sa akin. Interest rates rose, yung interest rate na housing loan dati 12% umabot ng 18-20%. Nangyari yun no Asian financial crisis. Yung exchange rate from I think it was 20 or 18 umabot ng 40-30. Imagine that. And the same thing happened in the global financial crisis in 2008. Back then, VUL was quite new. Hindi naman lingid sa kaalaman ng lahat ng tao. I'm from the life insurance industry. And it was the first years of my understanding about variable unit link, mga managed funds, how yung na mark to market ang valuation. So I even have a client whose investment dropped by as much as 40% during the global financial crisis. So, ang unang tanong, anong gagawin? Although, ang maganda naman, natutunan ko sa RFC na when the market bounces back, it always bounces back higher than its previous high. And if you look back in history, nangyayari yun. I guess, ito yung mga pwede ring maitulong sa atin ng AI, no? So, these things can happen. Wealth will be eroded. Although people understand that it's long term. But if you talk to the right people, if you are given good advice, actually, you can make more money out of it.
Right.
If you are prepared. And I guess that's what RFC can do for our clients. That's what it has done for me with my clients. And I guess yung topic natin tonight would even help us better with that. So before we move on to the show, let's greet our guests from Carillon Partners, Mr. Gerald Baldivia and Atty. SP Sumulong. But before we do that, let's try to greet some people on FB Live.
Oo, parang ang dami-dami nang nag-aano dito.
Oo.
Ang phone ko eh. Sige, sino ba ang nandito? Hello, Sir Danny Tan Zinampan. Hi, sir. Yan. Of course, si Ma'am Grace De Vera. Hi, Miss Grace.
Wag mo kakalimutan ng
Grace.
executive producer natin.
Hi, Grace.
Continuously watching and supporting us. And welcome Amelia Manlongat, Miss Jenny De La Cruz Castillejos. Yan. And many more. Yan. Actually, I'm excited for this artificial intelligence. Talaga. Yan. Tulad nga ng sabi ni Kuya Ryan, kapit lang. Ayan. Kasi it would continue to go, magbabounce back yan eh. Kuya Ryan, go ahead.
Hold on. Okay. Saya, di ba? Okay. So, guys, our listeners, our watchers, please do not forget to say hello and tell us where you are from para mabati pa namin kayo during the podcast.
Oo.
So, also, please do not forget to follow us on Facebook so you won't miss an episode and any announcements about our events in our IARCPH, yung mga continuing education natin, di ba? Do not forget, do not forget to like and share. Of course, we want this shared to as many members as possible. Kung may mga friends kayo na medyo naging inactive, tell them the good news. The association is back bigger and stronger.
Correct.
That's right.
Input ko lang kasi continuing education. Remember like this one, sobrang na to, artificial intelligence, di ba? This is the new technology. So if you're not part of the continuing education, you're not in the loop of what's currently happening already. Yeah.
Correct. You're not in the know.
Page.
Correct. Okay. Okay, now to formally introduce our special guest. Our first guest, Mr. Gerald Baldivia. Before co-founding Carillon Partners, Gerald was executive director at ATR Asset Management or ATRAM, where he was involved in portfolio analytics, risk management, marketing, and sales. Earlier, Gerald worked on project finance and private equity covering investments in the Philippines, Thailand, and Vietnam. So medyo naikot niya ng konti ang Southeast Asia,
Yes.
diba? At the International Finance Corporation, the private sector arm of the World Bank Group. He also did equity analysis at ito medyo mouthful to, mahirap i-pronounce. So Gerald, ano ba pronunciation nito?
Ewan ko, hindi ako nagsulat niyan.
Societe Generale. Tama ba? Sana tama, ha? I hope I don't get some flack. I think ang pinakamadali pronunciation is Sokjen. Parang Soksarjen, di ba? And at
Naman.
Oh, yeah, that's good to hear. And at ATR Kim Eng Peregrine Securities for and Trade and Political Risk Insurance at imagine nyo, AIG, American International Group in New York City. And credit at Far East Bank and Trust Company. Hindi ko kilala tong bangkong to. Bakit kaya? He has been a speaker and panelist at private equity, liquid equities, and project finance conferences in the Philippines and abroad. So pang-international po ang ating guest tonight. Gerald earned an MBA at Columbia University and a BS Business Administration degree at the University of the Philippines. Take note, guys, cum laude po siya.
Yeah.
Hindi po siya cum laude sa RFC, cum laude po siya sa UP, na kung saan pumasa ka lang okay na. Yung pumasa ka on time, yung makatapos ka on time, okay na yun. Pero siya, cum laude. And then, he is a board of director of 7 of 8 TRAM's mutual funds, having assets of about konti lang naman, about 70 million US dollars lang naman po mga kaibigan. And he is also a certified investment solicitor. Our next guest is Attorney SP Sumulong. Familiar naman kayo siguro yung sa kalsada sa paakyat ng anong tawag dyan? Antipolo. Oh, yan. Kailangan ko i-correct. Antipolo. Oh, you won't miss that road. Yan. Kapilido po ni Attorney SP Sumulong yan. He is the co-founder of Carillon Partners and is a member of the Philippine Bar, Attorney SP Sumulong po, and has practiced law for over 34 years. Tidbit lang, Andre, ilang taong ka na?
I'm 29.
Okay. So that speaks of how good he is and how long he has been practicing. With experience in corporate law, franchises, taxation, project finance, and litigation. So kung kailangan nyo pong maghabla, alam niyo po kung sino tatawagan nyo. He is concurrently a director of Global Electric Transport Corporation, Universal Alliance Dining Concept Inc., Alchemco Philippines Inc., and UCC Coffee Academy Philippines. So may background pala siya sa pagbabarista. He is the corporate secretary for Mossburger Philippines and Allegro Beverage Corporation. Previously, SP worked in Hong Kong for over 12 years, most recently as a director at Equicom Corporate Services Hong Kong Limited. He was general Equiom, sorry, hindi ako familiar, attorney, pasensya na po. Okay. He was general counsel for a number of publicly listed companies and held key positions in various firms in the Philippines. SP is a registered financial consultant and a chartered wealth manager. He received his Bachelor of Laws degree from the Ateneo and his BS Business Management from the De La Salle University. Grabe, green and blue. So iba ang cheer nitong mama na.
Atelite.
Okay, Atelite po siya. So, Gerald, Attorney SP, welcome to our podcast.
Welcome.
Thank you very much
Thank
for
you.
having us. Very nice to be invited, Kuya Ryan and Coach John and Andre.
Thank you very much. It's nice to see that RFC is alive and kicking and lalong dumadami yung guwapo at matalino.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Do not forget, maraming young blood.
Yun ang maganda.
Okay. So, our dear guests in the podcast, please do not forget to ask questions. Huwag po kayong mahihiyang magtanong. Diba? And kung gusto nyo magpabate, just let us know as well. Just put in your comments in the live chat.
Right. So I'll be checking them. So I want to do a shout out rin nga pala to Louie. She's not with us currently. And someone is helping us in the background. Shout out also to Francis Luigi Canizares. So he's helping us right now with our technical.
Hmm. Medyo nag-schedule ng bakasyon ng ating kapatid na si Louie. Enjoy, Louie. See you next week.
All right. So, for moving on to our topic tonight, it's mostly about artificial intelligence. It's a very interesting topic, actually, no, diba, guys? For us that aren't exactly techie, it sounds kind of alien or scary, right? Depending on your culture, no? But when I hear about artificial intelligence, what comes to mind is Terminator, like the robots taking
Yep.
over and blasting us
Yep.
with
Yep.
laser guns or the like.
Yep.
It sounds scary, right? But it's not always true, no? Depending on, like I said, depending on your culture. So, like for the Japanese, for instance, you'd see a lot of them adapting robots, no, in healthcare or in other areas
Yep.
of their lives, no. So, Attorney and Gerald, could you tell us about artificial intelligence?
Okay. To put it simply, well, you gave an example yung Terminator. To easily understand, it's basically a software and hardware. It's a machine that kind of simulates something natural, like human beings. So there's the Terminator, there's that Bicentennial Man. Kasi pag movies, madaling matandaan eh. But for us
Correct.
lawyers, ang kinabahan kami yung kay Tom Cruise, yung Minority Report. Na-anticipate that you will commit a crime, huhulihin ka na, di ba? But for me, in present day, I have two vehicles that I really enjoy using that have artificial intelligence. My Subaru has it detects kung malapit ka na mabangga. It gives a warning. And then I can use it for adaptive cruise control. Dati kasi cruise control lang, you set a certain speed. But now it's different. It will adjust to the speed, and then it will slow down or stop if you set the distance between the vehicle, you and the vehicle in front of you.
Wow.
So that's different. It's not hindi pa to yung autonomous that Tesla is planning to launch. But although in China they already have taxis that are autonomous, medyo hindi ko pa yata kaya sumakay ng taxi na sasabihin mo lang sa kapupunta, then alam mo walang driver. Banking is also, they use AI right now. I think Gerald, being active with banking and finance, can share more about how this is being used in banking, finance, and also more importantly for tonight, investments and hedge funds and the like. Gerald?
Thank you, SP. Actually, that's a good overview of how AI is actually very commonplace nowadays. People think AI is for the future, but actually, it's been with us for a long time already, and it's just been developing. Now, a lot of the anxieties about AI are really about artificially intelligent robots. Now, robots are a wonderful thing, but they're a separate issue also with a big overlap with AI. Nowadays, the most important AI that really helps humanity is disembodied. It's really in the background infrastructure of our daily lives, and so in the banking sphere, AI is being used for things like fraud detection, even for credit scoring. Say if there's peer-to-peer lending, or if you want your credit card approved, Um, and customer behavior also is very linked to your purchasing behavior
Mhm.
in the real world and also online. Whether you're buying merchandise from Amazon, which knows your deepest and darkest desires, even if you don't admit them to yourself or to your spouse, and also your content purchases. Netflix and YouTube and HBO will know what you want. Of course, social media will know, and also AI is also important in security and safety. It's also important in industry, where AI is being used in climate research, in pharma and genetics. AI is also being used in pharmaceuticals, etc., and in engineering design. It's being used in aerospace. Um, that's why you can send astronauts. SpaceX can send astronauts to the International Space Station without any of the astronauts actually doing the driving of the vehicle and the docking. That's mainly done by AI. So it's really with us already, and um, AI can be seen mainly as a tool, just like when we invented fire. Fire can be used harmfully, and it can be used constructively. The Industrial Revolution also caused a lot of displacement, but if you start to use it responsibly and ethically, then uh, on average it does well. Same thing with the nuclear power, nuclear science. So it can be used for good or ill. At the same time, I will not say that an Arnold Schwarzenegger future is impossible. There will always be that risk, but you should also think about all the other things that you can do with AI that can benefit you. And for some of you who in 2016 were aware of the game between an AI program called AlphaGo and the best Go player in the world, a Korean named Lee Sedol, the tournament ended up as a catastrophe for humanity because Lee Sedol, the Mr. Sedol, won only 1 out of 5 games,
The
and
computer won.
the computer won four
Wow.
times. So this was
Wow.
A Google DeepMind program. But instead of getting completely dejected and depressed, Lee Sedol noticed, especially in the last game, that AlphaGo, the AI program, was actually showing signs of creativity and doing things that humans never considered in terms of game strategy. And so that really opened the mind of Lee Sedol, and he said that his game will actually get enhanced in the future because of what he learned from playing against AlphaGo. So that's important because it shows that although AI learns primarily from its human creators, humans also learn from AI. And we can think of the development of AI as a beneficial partnership. It no longer can be thought of as a tool eventually. Eventually, AI, there will come a day when AI can develop enough sophistication to pass what's known as the Turing test, which is the inability to distinguish uh, between a machine and an AI when you're interacting with it, speaking with it, or messaging it, or what have you. We are not yet at that stage, but when it comes to that stage, ethical questions will arise. Can we still think of AI as a tool, or should we start thinking of AI as a partner? And maybe if that is the attitude that we take, that will also discourage AI from becoming hostile to us in the Arnold Schwarzenegger kind of scenario. So that is a very long view that you can take, and so you need not necessarily be fearful of AI. Just as with any tool, you should use it responsibly and ethically.
Gerald, that's fairly common with the chatbots for customer service. Dealt with using it like in banking or when we travel a lot. You you talk to someone and you're actually chatting AI. And even recently in online retail, in purchasing, I make inquiries. Hindi pala tao yung kausap ko. But it's quite helpful. It's quite helpful. In mobile banking, I go online to transact with my bank accounts. I still have accounts in Hong Kong. So for HSBC, Standard, even here with some of the local banks, they use my facial recognition from my phone or the biometric thumb mark, my fingerprint, to allow me to log in, of course, with a dual password. So that's for security protection kasi
Dual authentication.
oo, yung fingerprint medyo mahirap gayan or yung mukha. In some banks abroad for online banking, they ask you to do your left, front, and right side of your face.
Mm.
So, I mean, that's for
Profile.
security. And maybe, Gerald, you can share also yung kay Dr. Prospero Naval where they do facial recognition naman ng mga isda.
Yeah, thank you, SP, for that segue. That was a great toss. Lest people think that AI is only done by scientists in the developed world. We also have a lot of talent here in the Philippines that is involved in AI research and development already, and in fact, world-beating research. In fact, that person that Attorney SP just mentioned, Dr. Prospero Naval, who used to be the department chairman at the University of the Philippines Computer Science Department, and is still active with the AI lab he founded 20 years ago, and has been teaching AI at UP for more than 20 years now.
Wow.
Dr. Naval actually is a sought-after speaker at international AI conferences, and he's been referred as an expert in actually the investment side of AI. And for the upcoming IARFC continuing education session in a couple of weeks, we're trying to invite Dr. Naval, who is a friend of Carillon Partners, to be one of the guest speakers then. So that's something we'd like you to watch out for. See, Dr. Naval has a startup venture that uses AI in the marine conservation context. So see Dr. Naval, whom we call Prospero Naval Jr. Well, let me tell you first how he got involved in AI. Although he has an electrical engineering background, he actually studied AI in Kyoto, and he practiced there. And so that's how he got his PhD. And so going back to his startup company, together with another UP professor, marine biologist named Dr. Laura David, they put up a startup venture, which is already attracting customer demand. What they do is they put an array of cameras underwater on a rack that is affixed to a reef. And what that does is it takes video images all around the setup of the reef ecosystem. And what those images do is they are then sent to an AI program, which can then look at the images and say, these are the species that we've found. This is the count of individuals per species of fish or other marine life. And for each individual of each species, these are the weights and dimensions of each species. So what it tells you right away is the health and diversity, the biodiversity of the reef environment, of that ecosystem. And so the early customers for this startup company are conservation institutions in developed countries, in the Australia, New Zealand area, and also North America. But in the future, once this AI capability is mated to mobile underwater drones, then it can be very useful for commercial fishing fleets, since tuna which is a major commercial species, which have major commercial species, are migratory and they're fast swimming. And boats have to either look for them in the empty water or catch up with them. Having this kind of tool, which is called fisheye, is going to save a lot of money and also direct fishing boats to where the profitable catch are. Because if they drop their nets in places where they've got species that are really not commercially desirable, and they'll haul up their nets, the species are dead, and you destroy diversity. Also, if they come upon tuna that are juvenile and they haul them up, that's also bad because small tuna are not commercially attractive, so they'll have to throw them overboard. Plus, you killed future generations of tuna. So you're shooting yourself in the foot 2 times. So that's one of the applications of AI that we have. And watch out for the name of Dr. Naval, because he's not well known in this country, in our country. And it's sad tragedy that he's not. And we should treasure him as someone that the Filipino can be proud of.
Well, that's very interesting, Gerald, and props to Professor Naval, no, for being a superstar worldwide. So Filipinos should really know more about him. And I think it's very interesting that you mentioned that AI can be applied in so many areas, right? From games like AlphaGo, and then in our daily life, like in what we'd see in Amazon or Google. But how is AI applied in our field, perhaps in investing? Could you tell us about that?
Thank you very much, Andre. That's a great question. The AI, of course, will not be applicable to everything in investing. It's going to be relevant only to portfolio investing strategies that are of a quantitative nature. So for private equity or venture capital, where the essence of portfolio management is really the management of the businesses of these private companies to try to add value by improving the business model, the market strategy, the competitive strategy, supply chain, HR strategy, etc. That it will take a very long time for AI to become relevant there. But for listed equities and for fixed income and other liquidly traded asset classes such as commodity derivatives, real estate investment trusts or REITs, then AI becomes an extremely useful tool. And in fact, it has become more powerful over the last 2 decades as computing power has risen and as computing cost has dropped.
Wow. Is that also because of the abundance of data for like equities that AI can be applied?
Yes, that's also precisely true, Andre. So let me elaborate a little bit more about quantitative strategies, or what they call quant strategies. There are actually 3 kinds of 3 major classes of quant strategy. Although fund managers may offer all 3 or some combination of combinations of those 3 in various portfolio products that they're offering to their investors. You know? But briefly, the first one is the no-brainer. It's called the passive investing or indexing or index tracking strategy. So you do need the quant for that, but you probably don't need a lot of AI for that, because the computational challenges there are not as great. All you need to do is to pretty much track what's already moving. And if you know the components of a particular benchmark or a particular index, then that's fine. And so even here in the Philippines, there are a few tracking funds. There's, I believe, at least 1 mutual fund and at least 1 ETF that tracks the Philippine Stock Exchange Index. So that's probably one class of quant investing, and that, by the way, is accessible to Filipino investors, even at the small investor or retail level. But the other 2 kinds that I referred to are a bit more exotic, especially the second one, which is called factor investing, because that relies more on finance theory and has also been subjected to a great amount of statistics. And so in that respect, there's a lot of AI that's being used basically to have some theory. A manager will develop his or her own, or the house theory of how what exogenous or independent variables will affect performance of, say, share prices or commodity prices or fixed income prices. And there's really no consensus on what those factors should be, and there can't be too many. Otherwise, you'll have a spaghetti result in your trading decisions. So that's even something as primitive as regression analysis, which some of you may remember from your college statistics days. That actually can be thought of as an early form of artificial intelligence, because it tries to understand or abstract or, say, discover supposed relationships between things that move and other things whose movement you're interested in. Now, the third kind of quant investing, which where AI is also very useful, is what's known as trend following, or also known as systematic trading, trading of systems. And what this does is it doesn't take so much a fundamental or theoretical financial approach. It takes more of a trading and technical analysis approach. So the investment horizons here are shorter than they are with the factor investing. And factor investing, by the way, I should also mention, is nowadays not as popular, but its descendants are. And these are smart beta and dynamic factor investing. Kasi when they say factor investing, sometimes those factors don't persist over time, but they evolve and they fall out of fashion and come back into fashion, just like flared pants or short pants. So with going back to systematic trading or trend following, this is nothing more than encoding in software, in software programs, the kinds of thought processes that traders or dealers use when they draw their charts, when they look at relative strength index, when they look at head and shoulders patterns, etc., etc. But that's all now been delegated to computers. And then what happens is that since the accuracy of these strategies, of these technical strategies, leaves a lot to be desired if they're just going to be drawn with ruler and pen and paper. What happens is that these strategies, these small short programs, which are written initially by data scientists, are then subjected to AI tools in conjunction with historical data. So the historical data comes in as experience. These are data points of what the share prices were, or the trading volumes were of a particular security you're trying to create a strategy for. And the AI tool acts as the engine that tries to make sense of all that data and assembles it into a relevant or meaningful set of instructions or branching decisions, what have you, and you come out with a more sophisticated decision-making process in that new strategy. So that's how AI is applied in that third class of quant strategies. So sorry for that long answer, but I was hoping that this answers some things in some of the minds of our audience.
Wow. So
I can give a
sure.
short, simplified answer.
Thank you, SP. That always helps.
Oh, kasi pag si Gerald kausap ko, madalas nosebleed ako eh. But in simplified form, the analysts and the programmers and the scientists get all this data, they put it all in, and after all of that, there's a program, and for us who do equities and commodities, it gives the instruction after much testing is done, when at a certain point you sell or at a certain point you buy. And this could happen in a matter of hours, minutes, sometimes seconds. The thing there is it eliminates the emotional part of us human investors and advisors na ay wag ayoko diyan kasi galit ako diyan o benta natin yan or bilhin natin to kasi maganda yung may-ari or gwapo yan o ayoko kay Jack Ma kasi may sinabi siya so I don't want to invest in his stocks. So it removes all of the emotional part and it's just purely, based on data and figures and analysis. Tama ba, Gerald?
That's entirely correct, Attorney SP. I also wish to add that the AI really often does not participate during actual live trading hours. The AI is a tool in developing strategies, and the strategies are simply stuck into a library that's always awake during trading hours. And those strategies will just be watching the market and they will just react according to whatever signals, price or volume signals that they see in the market based on how they were written, how they were programmed. But you cannot say at this stage, at least, that there are AIs that learn on the fly during trading hours. That's probably a recipe for a little grief, because you probably want to, just as with humans, you probably want to do your learning and your studying while at home, not during the exam.
About 10 years ago, let me just share this briefly. We had a client in Hong Kong. He was an American, and he came up with a program. And I had to put the source code kasi yung secret eh. And his program, he sold it for $1 million. Okay? Pero isa lang ang pwede bumili kasi ito yung kanyang ito yung kanyang software program. He collects all the data of the race horses and race tracks and all of that, and it's analyzed, and then on the weather and everything. So it kind of predicts more or less. It gives a good prediction on who may win, which horse, depending yung jockey, yung horse, yung course, yung condition and everything. And he can only sell it to one buyer. Kasi syempre, pag marami bumili doon, di marami pumusta doon sa kabayo na yun.
It
But that was
defeats the
interesting.
advantage.
Yeah. So that's something similar, I think, Gerald. But it was quite interesting for me.
Correct. And I imagine that friend and client of yours, SP, is now banned in Macau and Las Vegas.
I think he's happy in the US.
Okay. He's already made his pile. So, yeah, I mean... I guess thanks very much for the questions, gentlemen, and maybe we can try to also find out what the audience may want to ask.
Yeah, baka may questions yan.
Oo. So thank you for that, Sir Gerald and Attorney SP. Right now, we don't have any questions.
Thank you.
But I would like to kind of summarize. Let me know if nagkamali po ako. So,
Sure.
Summarize lang. I want our audiences to right now first brief. Alam ko masyadong madami na nakakadugo ng ilong. Pero kasi ang dami talagang tech terms that we have to know eh. So partly I have been in the ComSci. I have graduated, so meron akong konting pinag-aralan about AI. Hi to my professor, Dr. Raymond Season. If you're watching, ayan, hello. I've learned a lot. So AI, paano ba siya? I think the different thing here is AI learns. It's not just a system na parang automated na ask kang question, sasagot siya. The AI actually learns what you want. So from the data that we give, magbabago yung ibibigay niyang results to us. And like what you said earlier, Sir Gerald, yung AI can be used for good and for bad. Sabi mo nga kanina na parang could be pwede rin possible na mangyari somewhere in the future na AI could, I don't know, maybe rule the world, see us as pests, tayo mga human. Pero the thing is, if we give that control to them, pero ang tanong, baka they'd be able to learn, yung mga ganon, that's the bad side of AI.
But there's also, if we treat them well, then they should not feel threatened about us and become hostile to us. So that actually is one of the themes in Westworld. If any of you has watched the miniseries, it's all about the agonizing over slavery over being used as a tool.
Okay.
This is an unusual tool, AI, and it has the capability to become conscious eventually. And so, if it becomes conscious, then does that entity have its own rights and protections? And should we give it respect? That's almost like having emotions, but really, it's all about identity also and self-preservation.
Mm.
And so, if the AI does not feel oppressed or exploited, then it has less incentive to look at us in a threatening manner, look at us as threats.
Right. So there's that side, and there's also that side of partnering with conscious AI, and also there are happenings already right now na we're making AI into good use. Tsaka, this one is from Professor Naval, a Filipino pa, a scientist, di ba? So we can make use of AI in a good way. Ayan, conservation of the reefs, ayan. So right now, what we're saying is in investments, how we do it is we study the patterns. The AI studies the patterns offline, para nga, like what Attorney SP has said, wala yung emotional factor na parang, ay, may sinabi si ganyan about this, ayoko na siya, hindi na ako mag-i-invest. Pero the AI actually saw the pattern na okay mag-invest dito. Alright?
AI can reveal things that humans have not thought about because we have certain habits of thought.
Right.
And like in AlphaGo, it revealed brand new strategies and ways of doing things that could also work, be very useful, be very effective, and they can be elegant.
Yeah.
Even without consciousness, creativity can occur.
So it learns, continuously learns. Ang question ko dyan is, so it's just the same as data analysis, pero itong AI is it learns new patterns and it adjusts. Ganun
Yes.
po ba?
AI can be
Alright.
thought of
Okay,
as
so my
an
next-
extension of data analysis.
It's an extension of data analysis. Perfect. Okay, so my question would be, as investors, how will we be able to use that?
Well, thank you very much for that practical question, Coach John. The utility of AI is in enhancing the performance of a quant strategy. So if let's say a data scientist wrote a technical, just as an example, in the trend following or systematic trading bucket of quant strategies, if a data scientist wrote a program, an algorithm based on a technical analysis theory, he has a hypothesis basically, and he says, I should be able to make money if I use this strategy, this if-then statements, if this and that, provided this is present and that's not present, and if I see this signal, whatever. But chances are, since it's all probabilistic, and it doesn't always turn out that way, you'll have a certain distribution of happy and not so happy outcomes, profits and losses. What the AI does is it actually gives the benefit of experience, years of experience, historical data, and crams that into the process, and thus making a more sophisticated strategy. So what starts out as a short paragraph of software code written by a human suddenly balloons because there are lots of clauses inserted in between, provisos, colatillas, or what have you, that improve the success rate of the strategy. So that is the big benefit there, and because of that, there's less risk. There's less. The AI is able to remove a lot of the unhappy outcomes after the testing and evolution of that strategy as a result of having had it exposed to historical data. So it's just the same as humans also learn from experience, which is historical data,
Right.
sensorily absorbed. This is numerical data that's fed into the strategy. So that's the big benefit of AI.
Correct. So malaking knowledge database kasi compared sa yung tao lang yung mag-aaral, yung memory niya lang yung and all his records. But in this one has all the data and
Yep.
the history.
One of our associated one of our friends who runs a firm in India that does AI in the investment world. They actually got a visit from the Indian intelligence services, the equivalent of the CIA in India, and they were asked, your company has been importing a lot of computer equipment. And did you know that with X number of teraflops, you now have the fourth largest computing capacity in India? So what are you doing with that? And so they explained, well, we're using it for investments. And they gave a tour to the intelligence officials around their offices, and they looked and they kicked the tires, and they spoke with the data scientists, and they said, thank you. We understand. And they left and never bothered them again.
Right. Syempre,
Gerald, ano yung teraflop?
That's a unit of processing capacity. It's unimaginably huge.
Isang katutak na terabyte.
Yep. Well, yeah. So, something like that.
yes, but for processing po, sir, attorney.
Yes, that's right. See, Coach John has the right IT background to understand that. Flop is floating point operations per second. So that's a processing capacity.
Si Kuya Ryan, tahimik ah.
You lost me at hello.
Yeah, I knew there would be casualties at this.
I actually understand you flopped. Ano yan eh.
I think
use that for measuring.
20 minutes ago pa.
I use that for measuring laptop speed.
Yeah, that's right. That's right.
John.
Yeah, go Kuya Ryan.
Okay. Well, we tackled a lot of things actually. Nakakatuwa. Ang dami ko rin natutunan. Medyo nosebleed, but medyo nakakasabay kasi marami akong friends sa College of Computer Studies sa DLSU actually. Mga dating teachers, meron pa nga dating associate dean eh. Anyways, so actually dalawa pala dating associate dean yung naging friends ko doon. Okay.
Friends
so we're learning
places.
so much. Oh, dami eh. Mga ano eh. Medyo ano eh, may mga kapit kumbaga. Wow, we're learning so much about artificial intelligence. So, well, partially medyo na-discuss yun na rin how it affects perhaps hedge funds, no? So, siguro the question now, since this Tuesday podcast is mainly for practitioners in the field of financial consultancy, for the benefit of our listeners, whether they are financial consultants or those who are considering to become one, let's explore how this would perhaps be applied in our practice. So, ano kaya ang relevance ng, siguro, since we talked lengthily about artificial intelligence, how can artificial intelligence perhaps help our clients? If applied into investments, ano ba maitutulong nito for us, financial consultants, and our clients? So,
thanks for the question, Kuya
isa
Ryan.
pa, Gerald, since we're running out of time, if you guys can explain that in 5 minutes, please.
Sure. SB, mind if I take a stab at this?
Go ahead. Pagbibigyan na kita.
Thank you. So, AI-enhanced investments, like I said, are typically found in quant strategies now. Quant portfolios, quant funds. And unfortunately, many of these are in the alternative space because they are in mainly hedge funds. Although there are some AI strategies and quant strategies that are also pursued by some mutual fund managers, but then those are not widely available. And I'm talking about mutual fund managers outside the Philippines. So a lot of the opportunity that you may want to show to clients here in the Philippines is actually overseas and not registered here in the Philippines. So first of all, even overseas, quant strategies and hedge funds, which are unregulated, are not available to the they're not marketed aggressively to the mass market. Maybe to the mass affluent and to high net worth individuals, of course, as well as institutions. And so a similar approach can be taken here in the Philippines. There are certain wealth managers and private banks here operating here in the Philippines that actually can provide access to quant strategies which use AI. And so you just need to make sure that the kinds of clients that you think this may be suited to are sophisticated enough and have at least a minimum amount of net worth or annual income enough to satisfy at least the wealth management parameters of something like a Citibank Gold or an ATR Asset Management or what have you. And that turns out to be in practice more or less around the 5 million peso level in terms of a threshold for investable assets. But really, public solicitation is out of the question. First of all, because most of these are not registered in the Philippines, so you'd be breaking Philippine law if you did that public solicitation. And so, if you want to introduce this, it should be done only in private context, only with people you believe would qualify, and then they would have to get also what's known as a QB certification from a financial institution here in the Philippines that is permitted by the SEC to hand out those QB, registrations for individual clients. Institutions are no problem because above a certain size, they're already considered QB. But for individual clients, especially those who are approached by the RFC community, one has to be quite selective because of the complexities involved and the difficulty of explaining this. Right now, even I have a little bit of a nosebleed, but I just hide it very well.
As you have shared, puro osmosis ang nangyari, di ba? But that's quite interesting actually kasi although very few clients would perhaps qualify, but still, it's helpful. And ang dami namin natutunan, grabe.
It would be a powerful diversifier for investors. And if you put it in your portfolio, sorry to cut you off, Ryan. If you put it into your portfolio, it can shield your portfolio to a great extent against the volatility that you're seeing in equities. If in the US, you saw that this year alone, because of the pandemic, the S&P 500 fell to a maximum of 20% at one point. It's since recovered. In the Philippines, it was worse. In dollar terms, the PSEI fell nearly 40% because of COVID-19. It still hasn't completely gone back up to the end 2019 levels. So we're still hurting from that.
Okay, so it can basically help smooth out yung mga nangyayari na volatility sa investment ng clients. Okay, very nice, very nice. Andra, you have something to say na? You have something to share?
Yeah, thank you so much, Gerald and Attorney SP for sharing. Just for the benefit of our members and listeners, just a quick recap. AI is simply defined as a machine, could be software or hardware, that can simulate natural, particularly human intelligence. And in terms of application, it can be in many areas. It doesn't have to be robots, like physical robots. It can be in the software that we use, like what you'd see in
Waze,
Amazon. No, yeah, Waze, or and in our field, investments, it could in terms of sophistication, it can vary from something as simple as a passive ETF index to something very complicated like factor investing, or as mentioned by Gerald earlier, the technical analysis or momentum investing. It's like looking at the patterns in the charts, but turning that into equations. Am I correct?
That's correct.
And then one good thing about it is that it also learns over time. So again, thank you so much, gentlemen, for sharing your insights and time for our members to learn more about the whole application of AI in our field. Please note that this December 12, 2020 at 4 p.m., we will be holding a special continuing education session for members, especially the active members. And that is why you will need to follow us on Facebook to stay updated on all of the details. So thank you again, gentlemen. And for next week, our guests is Miss Rocheflum Palermo, RFC, and Miss Mary Ann Trinidad, RFC, both of whom have built up quite successful practices, especially after they've attended the RFC conversion course. And that is their topic, how the RFC can be the best gift for yourself. All right. So, on behalf of our executive producer, Ms. Grace De Vera Escobar, this is the RFC Tuesday podcast saying it is better to be in the know than to be the last to know. Thank you and good night.
Good
Thank
night,
you very
everyone.
much. Good night.
Everyone.
Good night. Thank you. Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas.
Yes, Merry Christmas. Happy holidays.